everyone, we're getting ready this morning and I thought I would bring you along for the ride. I got a new palette that I'm really excited about. It's the Hindash Beautopsy palette. This is one of the most innovative, cool multitasking concepts I've seen in a while. Basically we have a palette that's full of these gradient powders, okay? Within each one you have a range of colors actually. So I can use this full face style. I mean, this really was made to cater to all skin tones, and you're gonna find that different skin tones might use some of these products in different ways, but it's really cool because they can be face, they can be eyes. We're talking setting powder steps, blushes, contour, eyeshadows. I played with it yesterday and I had so much fun. I'm like, I've gotta go ahead and do a video on this. Even if I'm not like in full-on review mode, I'm just gonna use it and we can just kind of chat about it as we go. But first off, I have to get some foundation on today, so I'm going to use my NARS Sheer Glow. I bought a pump for that because I'm just like, I'm loving this foundation so much. I wear Vienna Light 4.5. I'm really having a rediscovered moment with this. The coverage on this foundation, the look on the skin, the wear of it, like this has been around a long time, but I'm just really feeling such a love for this foundation these days. So yeah, it was worth getting the pump because like it really is a pain to just have that open top bottle. Okay, so I'm dabbing this all over my skin. I used a little more than one pump, probably a little more than I needed, honestly, but that's okay. And I'm gonna take my beauty blender, dampened, and we're just gonna bounce that in all over the skin. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We had a good one around here, just kind of low key. Yesterday was a big, just kind of around the house, cleaning, laundry, meal prepping kind of day, but it was fun. See how gorgeous this is looking? Like, oh, it's so pretty. And yet it seems like kind of a lightweight formula, but I always get it on and I'm like, wow, the skin looks so good. And it's not like it's shimmery or anything. It's just kind of somewhat of a luminous looking formula, but the skin's not overboard tacky either. I just don't know how they're doing it. It's just a really good looking foundation. Again, may not be news to a lot of you because it has been around a long time, but maybe you've got it down in your collection. You could dig it out. Then I'm going to do a little concealer, and I'm going to stick with NARS for that step today. I've got a mini here of the Radiant, I think it's called Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Creme Brûlée. I kind of want to see how it interacts with the Sheer Glow foundation. This concealer is really popular. Like, I know it's been a long time like best-selling Sephora product. It's never really hugely resonated with me. I wonder if I just haven't given it enough of a chance. I think there was a time early on when I got this concealer, probably in a full size, and for some reason I got the impression that it was a little bit drying on me. But I feel like I moisturize my skin and my under eye area so well these days before makeup. Like, I'm using multiple Glossier serums, I'm using Bobbi Brown Vitamin Rich Face Base, and one of a number of good quality eye creams and all that business. And I just kind of feel like even though I'm getting older, I don't know, maybe my skincare's just stepped up a little bit and stuff's looking better. So as you can see, I've stuck with the Beauty Blender here and I'm just patting it in. Coverage looks really good and the shade is really good. I've got a little, like, almost like a tiny zit that cropped up right there in the inner corner of my eye. And I messed with it and I got it kind of irritated. So if you see something there, that's that. Very happy with that skin. Like, that just really is satisfying. And then of course I just wiped my nose. You should blow my nose. Concealer to the rescue for that. Now, the Hindash palette. By the way, Hindash, he is an incredible makeup artist. If you check out his YouTube channel, I followed him on YouTube before I even knew about this palette, and he has some beautiful tutorials, and he's got a lot more about his palette on his channel if you check that out. But there's also a nice mirror here. It's magnetic. It came to me so nicely packaged, like so extensively packaged, which I appreciate because I've had more than a few palettes arrive here, you know, busted up. So the first powder step I'm going to go into here is the shade Tan Lines, and I'm just kind of, I don't know, dabbing in the center of that gradient, and I'm going to use that as setting powder. And I like that option because that's something that's definitely not going to dull down the look of my under eye area. And I feel like the white side, I don't know, that seems to kick up a little more powder than anything in this palette. And then the rest seems very like solid. It's still pigmented, but it's got a real like firmly packed feel. And I think that's because these things need to work on face and eyes. So maybe you don't want the red, let's say, coming off just like uncontrollably. You know, you want it to be buildable. I think that was the goal with these products, to make them buildable so they could truly be multitasking. So again, I'm using the top shade here, just dabbing in very easily. I feel like this is the kind of palette that a lot of people might look at and get confused about. But then you really see what its different functions are and you're like, oh, that could be like the most basic everyday use kind of thing ever. And I've seen people like swatch out this shade, for example, and show just how many sorts of colors. Oh, hey, I'm a mirror in a mirror. But show just how many different colors there are between that cool gray and the brown. It's a very subtle gradient here in Love Kills, but it's like soft red into richer red, brown into black. I love the pink as a blush. I wore that yesterday. We also have Wet Paint here, which is a bit more of a yellowish tone. It goes from kind of creamy into more of a banana type of powder, if you're into that. So both those top ones for me are pretty good setting options, but if you want to deepen up, you could kind of tap into those and then tap into, like, say, a little bit of the brown from there. You've got opportunities to customize things. Now I'm wanting to do like a little bit of bronzing slash contouring. I'm going to go to the Feel Real color and just dab my brush into this side of it. And I'll begin using that around the hairline, cheekbone area. If you wanted to warm the color up some, I'm guessing we could kind of tap here and then briefly into there. But mainly I find I'm going to the far left side of Feel Real, and it's a really good contouring shade for me. And see how I'm tapping in, but it's not kicking up much dust or anything. Really none to speak of. Look at that beautiful contour. I love it. Pretty cool, huh? I'm having a blast. All right, now here's a fun part, blush. I'm not sure if it's showing too much. Yeah, you can probably tell. This shade goes from kind of like a peachy pink into a full-blown bubblegum pink. I think I'm gonna take more the bubblegummy side today and use that as just this beautiful, youthful, pretty blush. Oh, it's stunning. It's like, it's pigmented, but it does not kick up any powder. The only thing that might give me a little bit of powder is the white side of tan lines. That's it. It's just such a nice formula. And I remembered him saying in a video I watched on this that it was very hard to create, you know, and get the exact perfect gradient of everything. And that would be difficult, I would think. But look at the freshness on that blush. Oh, love, love, love. Okay, I do want to wear a little shimmery highlight, and everything in this palette, I don't know if I even said it out loud yet, but you probably gathered, it's all matte, okay? If you want to highlight with some glow, you're going to have to pull that in yourself. This is my Catrice Sungasm, and I'm just going to use my Real Techniques setting brush here, just for a little glow on top of this beautiful matte pink blush. Oh. Little to the forehead there as well, a little on the Cupid's bow. That is such a perfect highlighter, guys, this one. And then I'm going to take some of my Blueberry Mist from Milani. This is the Replenishing Facial Mist, and we'll just set this. The skin, y'all. Oh, so happy with this. All right, now for brows, I would say there's most definitely, like, I could create a brow color out of stuff in here, you know, between that shade and maybe working down into a little bit of the deepest shade, I could mix up a brow color for myself. But today I am just going to use this, the Benefit Brow Microfilling Pen, which I love so much. It's in medium brown. It's got the little forked, cut at an angle fork there, and it just fills in so nicely. I talked about this in my Undupable video, but there are a lot of inky kind of brow pens that they just lay down so much so quick. It becomes hard to control until maybe you've owned the thing for a number of weeks, and then it's like, okay, now I've finally reached a sweet spot with where I can apply this without fear. But this one is just so, like, simple. And you can easily feel like, okay, I'm adding some hair-like strokes right here, right now, to this inner part. And it looks like fluffy brow, but really, I'm just inserting some little marks. But I would love to know if any of you have heard about this palette yet, if you've tried it yourself. What are some of your favorite ways to use it? Do you find yourself reaching for it more for eyes or the face steps? I feel like they're doing a really good job of making it equally valuable for both elements of makeup, you know? Okay, then I'm just gonna take this Milani Avocado Conditioning Brow Gel. Now I'm going to pop on, like always, a little Milani eyeshadow primer here, and we will go on and do an eye look with the Hindash palette. For the eye look, I want to see if I get any contrast out of this side of tan lines. I can't remember if I used much of this shade yesterday. Okay, on my skin tone, yes. I'm getting just a little bit of like the softest brown right here. And the interesting thing about Hindash is that he used to be like an actual artist. Not that makeup artists aren't actual artists, but I believe paint was his medium, you know? So it's kind of cool that he made that jump. Okay, so that shade is lightly in my crease. It could not look any more like naturally contoured. Then I'm gonna take maybe the shade right below it, wet paint, and maybe just use a little bit of that, just blurring additionally right here. Great. Okay, now let's deepen up the crease a little bit. I'm going to take kind of the center part here of Feel Real. To me in this palette, that one feels like the most aggressive gradient, you know, the one that goes most contrasting on each side. But very easy to use, and you can tell like this stuff was formulated to be good on cheeks and eyes, and you go into it and it's just so approachable because I'm not getting any fallout. And he said it was meant to be buildable, and I see that. So you're not going to be just like flooded with color the way you might be if this was a Lorac palette, but you can certainly very easily get to the intensity you want. Still sticking with that center of the gradient and getting a really natural depth right there. Let's deepen it up even more. I want to try this shade right here. It's got a lot of red in it, it seems. So pretty. I didn't use as much of that yesterday when I was playing with this. I really like that color. So you can see I'm patting it down. I'm kind of flipping my brush so I make sure to get that in the depth of my crease like this. So it went boom. Just twist the brush in my hand and also take it up. And then I can use my little Sigma E27 and just further blend that right in the deepest part of my crease and up. That dark color really goes a long way. Like that's blending very easily and shearing out and looking so pretty alongside these other shadows. And then we're like, well, maybe we want some more warmth. What if we go to this end of Love Kills? Did you see how I just went into there, not a bit of fallout? Look how you can add this warmth. Is anybody seeing that? Just a little bit, you know, I'm being gentle. I just went right in there, that end. Even though you want that shade, like right on the outer edge of the look, the key is starting where it's a little darker and then letting it pull up from it. So everything's looking like it's merging out of the next shade, and then I will blend the edge, yes. That's really pretty. I'm excited to try that red, a little bit of that as a blush too. But I just wanted today for you to see the purity of that pink. Okay, now just a bare brush, gently blend over the edge. Okay, now what do we want to do inner part of the lid? I want to keep it like a little bit lighter, I think. So maybe we'll go to wet paint. Just dab that right here. And then on the under part of the eye, what do you say we softly go into our bottom shade, kind of somewhere in the middle. And I'm just using kind of like a fluffy-ish pencil brush. This is my Profusion ES6, small pointed. And just getting a little gentle dark brown down there. So what I'm showing you today, I feel like is a really like basic eye, but I'm picturing, you know, more warmth could easily work in. Some of the pinky shade could be a factor. The gray could become a huge factor as an eyeshadow too and take you out of the warmth somewhat. but this is just so easy and fun. And then I'm thinking about taking just a little angled liner brush into my black that's there. And maybe we could just kind of take that along the upper lash line a bit. I'm not doing like a full-on liner. Just gently deepening the upper lash line. Love that. Okay, now for this look, I want a little brightness in my lower inner rim, so the ABH double-ended pencil, of course, is going to come out to play. I'm going to curl my lashes and pop on some mascara. I use a little IT Cosmetics Superhero today. Now for my lip today, I'm going to take my Milani lip liner in Cinnamon Statement. I've been really liking to use this one as a starting point lately. And I suppose one thing you could do is you could take one of those shades and maybe scrape it up a bit and then mix it in with like some Vaseline or some kind of clear balm and customize a lip color. But you guys know I'm kind of loaded on lip colors, so I think I'm going to just stick with my own. Isn't that shade stunning? I love it just right there. You know, we could stop there. But I got this urge to go a little brighter on the lip today. I pulled out a shade I haven't used in a while. This is Charlotte Tilbury, the Hot Lips line in the shade Hot Emily. I don't think she was talking about me when she made that, but anyways, it's kind of like a bright coral. But I was wondering, what would that look like over my little bit deeper lip liner? Really pretty. Now as a result of that, do we need just a little pop? Just a little pop of this. Oh gosh. Can I just have some volunteer cheeks sign up for me just applying blush on a non-stop basis on a given day? Like, I love putting on blush. Oh, that's so fun. I mean, I know rich skin tones are probably where that shade was designed to be used, but for a glam kind of look like this, glam lips, what a fun pairing. Whew. So here we are, my friends. I used the Hindash Beautopsy palette for pretty much every powder step I needed today. Yeah, every powder step. My favorite functions of it, I think, were for the setting powder. I really love like these top couple of shades and their gradient for setting the face, setting the under eye area too. I also love using it as a blush. This just took me over the edge just using that just now, but on a general everyday basis, I love that gradient up there as well. I love a good classic matte eyeshadow look, and that's exactly what you can achieve here. If you want to be a little more creative, you could see how maybe you could pull in some more brightness or go a little different tone direction with the cooler side of this and just work that in with maybe a couple of the lighter shades. But I really enjoyed this, and I really respect how they were able to make this truly multitasking friendly, because the shades, the pans really had to be very firmly pressed, like I described. You know, they had to be something where you weren't flooded with color as an eyeshadow and kind of expecting that, but then unable to control it on the cheeks because it was formulated more for eyes. You know, it's amazing how these colors are beautifully pigmented, but textured in such a way that they truly can work for both eyes and the cheeks and be buildable and be something where you can really create your own look with it. So I love it. Really unique product, yet couldn't be more basic and everyday. That's my description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon. I love you so much. Bye.